Let's look at movies from an expert's perspective.
We're thinking beyond movies.
Imagine being germ-free. It's rheogenesis technology. It's On Cinema at the Cinema with me, your host, Tim Heidecker. Hi everybody, my name is Tim Heidecker. Welcome to a brand new season of On Cinema at the Cinema, sponsored by Rheogenesis. Welcome to the show. This is a show where we give you movie information and reviews and give you some informed knowledge so that you'll be able to choose the right movie for you this weekend. I'd like to welcome one of my guests today from the Victorville Film Archive, Greg Turkleton.
Hey guys, glad to be here with my daily dose of film expertise.
I said you want me to do the whole spiel. Greg is from the VFA and he's a film buff and a film expert, and he's bringing in his expertise on the current movies in the cinema today.
And past movies too.
Okay. I just want to take a few minutes before we get into the reviews to acknowledge this is not only a new season, it is a fresh start. It's a new start. We're turning over a new leaf. I love the imagery of the X. For me, it means a lot of things. It's
X-Men.
Not X-Men. It's first of all, it's 10. It's the Roman numeral 10. A lot of ways the X stands for me. It stands for exonerated, which I was, from the crimes that the state tried to throw at me. And state of California court system basically identified me as innocent. In other ways, it's sort of Xing out the person I used to be. You know, this is hard for me. I'm not somebody that likes to admit when he's wrong. And I can say to you now that I've made mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, I am innocent of the crimes, of course, and that's been proven. But I've been very abusive towards certain people in my life. I'm not going to say who. I've used myself with drugs, and I have addiction problems, and I've had all kinds of issues. And you guys have seen it all.
By not reviewing movies on the show, or not seeing the movies.
Thank you.
That you were supposed to have seen before you came in, which is a form of abuse.
That's why I don't get about you. I said that there's a chance to restart fresh, and you come in with your crap.
No, you were just saying that you'd made mistakes, and I was just mentioning one in case you forgot that one, which
I
is
have
that
not
you didn't
forgotten.
watch the
We're
movies.
not going to litigate every mistake I've made. I've made many mistakes, and
Yeah.
so have you, and so have you. All right. The other thing I want to talk about, and I apologize, and that's a new thing too, I apologize. We are so lucky to now have an official sponsor for On Cinema at the Cinema, Season 10. We are now working with this incredible company called Rheogenesis. Rheogenesis, as a lot of you guys might know, is the #1 all-natural organic germ deterrent that's on the market right now. It's a system that you can integrate into your life. It's guaranteed to work, and it eliminates, imagine that, just listen to this, it eliminates germs entirely from your system, from your body. I went to my doctor a couple weeks ago, and his jaw dropped because he said, I've never seen this before, you are virtually germ-free. But it's an incredible product, and I'm proud that they're part of the On Cinema family. Check out rheogenesis.com. Before we jump into the movies, I know we've got a lot to cover. Greg, we had an incident at the Oscar special, a tremendous Oscar special, one of the best On Cinema Oscar specials I think we've ever done.
With the Jaws stuff.
The Jaws stuff was phenomenal. We did end on a little bit of a sour note because our good friend, there was a minor accident on set that we, sometimes it's part of the movie making process. You know, you risk things, you take risks, and sometimes accidents do happen. And our friend Mark Prux was involved in a small accident on set. Luckily, the EMS were there and were able to. Yeah, and so I guess I haven't spoken with him, but hopefully you have.
Well,
an
he's
update
not
on
speaking now, but his heart is pounding away, so that's a good sign.
That's
he's
terrific
breathing.
news. Good for that. Good for him.
I don't know when or if he'll speak again, but our fingers are crossed. He's in good care thanks to the state of California and the Medicare system and all that. So he does have a full-time caretaker.
Well, the heart's what we care most about. So Mark,
his heart is beating.
All right, let's get into the movies. This week we've got a big one, Pacific Rim Uprising. So that's a sequel to Pacific Rim 2, Pacific Rim 1, which didn't have a subtitle to it, was just Pacific Rim.
Well, this doesn't have a subtitle either. It's just called Pacific Rim Uprising. There's no colon between
All right.
Pacific Rim and
So,
Uprising, or dash.
Pacific Rim, directed by Stephen S. DeKnight, starring John Bodega, Scott Eastwood. That's not Clint Eastwood, which we're familiar with, and Charlie Day.
Charlie Day and DeKnight is the director. It's night and day.
Jake Pentecost, son of Jack Stacker Pentecost, reunites with Mako Mori to lead a new generation of Jaeger pilots against a new Kaiju threat.
That would all make sense
Excuse
if you've
me.
seen the
This
first
is,
movie.
Yeah, no, I know. I've seen both movies. This is a great Pacific Rim movie. This is
Yes, it is.
essentially following through on the promises they delivered in the first episode of this show.
Movie.
I love this movie a lot. Probably one of those movies I'll probably see again and again. I give Pacific Rim Uprising 5 bags of popcorn.
Yeah, it's strange. When I saw the first Pacific Rim movie, which I loved, as you know, I thought, well, that's a self-contained movie. That's it. There'll never be a sequel because they wrapped up so many of the loose ends at the end of the movie. So I was a little bit wary of this one, wondering how they were going to keep it going. After seeing this Pacific Rim movie, I feel like there could be another 10 afterwards. This is the beginning of a new franchise. Scott Eastwood is a big part of that, as you mentioned, related to Clint Eastwood. And watching this movie, you really see the resemblance. And I'm thinking to myself, if they ever reboot Dirty Harry, I think I know who will get the first
All
call.
right. Pacific Rim Uprising, how many bags?
I'm going to give it 5 bags of popcorn and 1 lucky rabbit's foot in the hopes that they do reboot the Dirty Harry franchise with Scott Eastwood. at the
Interesting.
helm.
I made a connection. I don't think you got there with this, but
Oh,
you
I
have
did.
Scott Eastwood, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Charlie Day, and you almost wonder if on set they're going back and forth with, Charlie Day, make my day. That's my dad's line. Something Clint Eastwood would say. He'd say, make my day from Dirty Harry.
I'm sure they were doing that.
I don't know. I thought that was kind of neat.
Bit of movie magic.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Next up is Sherlock Gnomes, directed by John Stevenson and starring the great Johnny Depp, James McAvoy, and Emily Blunt. Garden Gnomes,
It's gnomes.
I'm sorry, Garden Gnomes, Gnomeo. Oh, Gnomeo and Juliet. That's like Romeo and Juliet. Recruit renowned detective Sherlock Gnomes to investigate the mysterious disappearance of other garden ornaments. And this is a sequel, I believe, as well, to the original Gnomes movie that came out recently.
It's pronounced gnomes.
Okay, and this is a lot of fun. You had the great voice talents of Johnny Depp. And I love this movie. It was fun for kids of all ages, of course. And I'm proud to have been one of the many people that love this movie. I'm proud to be in their company. So I give it 5 bags of popcorn and 2 glasses of soda.
This is a great movie. It's a frustrating movie because it is so great, but it could have been greater. And the reason I say that is the director. John Stevenson is a no-name director. I think when you've got Johnny Depp on board for something like this, the next call you make is to Tim Burton.
Right.
And those two guys together with this Sherlock Gnomes movie, I think he would have hit it right out of the park. And I got to wonder why Tim Burton turned this one down, because I think he made a big mistake. And I'm very curious to find out why he made that mistake, because he doesn't make a lot of mistakes if you know his reputation for making great movies. So I'm still going to give it, it would have been 5 bags of popcorn plus a little garden gnome, but I'm just going to do the 5 bags of popcorn because I think this was a missed opportunity.
Thanks for that, Greg. One more time before we go, I just want to thank Rio Genesis for being a partner on the show and sponsoring the show and being a part of the On Cinema family. Again, it's a great product. I use it. I've been using it now for several weeks. It's made a huge difference in my life. It's an entire system, to essentially eliminate germs from your body. I've found what works for me is the Germ Assassin, and that basically is a really strong, intense cleanse of germs. It really just eliminates all the germs in your body. And it's about a week of, I do 4 pills 5 times a day. And then you just, on a daily basis, you can transition to the Germ Shield, which I use the Germ Shield X in powder form. And that I use it to make a shake, really kind of delicious shake. And you do that a couple times, 3-4 times a day, and you're creating a shield and preventing any germs from disrupting your biochemistry. And that's a limit. And I'm talking about not only are we getting rid of germs, but you think about it as you're getting rid of the possibility of getting a cold or the flu or stomach issues, diarrhea, stomach flus, vomiting, and long-term things. You know, we're talking about preventing diabetes, we're preventing cancer, all kinds of illnesses and diseases that, you know, really are so threatening to us. So it's a really exciting product, and check it out, Riogenesis.
Is the Riogenesis stuff going to cut into the Popcorn Classics time?
No, I have to do a couple minutes on this if we're going to make this work.
How are we going to make up the time with a...
Don't worry about the time. We'll get to it. We're not going to. We'll get to Popcorn Classic at some point this season.
Because I have
That's a guarantee.
One, but we...
excuse me. Thanks again to I'm going to have to do that again now. Thanks again to Riogenesis, riogenesis.com, providing 100% germ elimination and germ deterrence.
Popcorn Classic elimination too, apparently.
We'll see you next week. I just want you to understand something, that we are committed to spending 2 or 3 minutes per episode on a Riogenesis. Excuse me. We have an obligation, and that's all that you're seeing here is dependent on that.
Well, then we should have just done it at the old movie theater and not had to talk about this stuff, because if it's cutting into the Popcorn Classics, people have no reason to watch.